I'd like to take a moment to thank my channel members for your continued support. Thank you, and consider joining today for added perks and exclusive content. Hello and welcome, I'm Bert the Stormtrooper, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers the Movie Studio Series 86, number 14, Junk Heap. And I know that's kind of a mouthful, so what all of that means is that this is Studio Series for the 86 movie, but it's figure number 14. So here we have Junk Heap, which I've been really looking forward to ever since we got Wreck-Gar. I absolutely adored the Wreck-Gar figure, and I've really been looking forward to this one right here. We can see that he's packaged in robot mode. Again, this is that open window packaging. He does have a couple of accessories. Can't really see it on camera, but make sure that you look in there in the store and make sure that the accessories are still in there and haven't fallen off in shipping before you purchase the figure itself. So we can see that the figure is packaged in robot mode. We got some really cool artwork of Junk Heap right there. Studio Series 86, number 14, Transformers logo, Transformers the Movie from 1986. We got, on the side, we got Studio Series 86, number 14. We got some really cool artwork of Junk Heap right there. He is a Voyager class figure, and I skipped over this in my intro. He's starting to hit store shelves right now as of the time of this recording, released in 2022. A Voyager class figure retails, at the time of this recording, approximately $30. Over here on this side, we've got some more artwork of Junk Heap right there, number 86, and then along the back, we've got some product shots of Junk Heap, both in his robot mode and his motorcycle mode. We can see that he comes with a backdrop, Junkian Dance Party, and he's got 22 steps for transformation. So that's about it for the packaging. Let's get him opened up and check him out. Out of the package, you get the Junk Heap figure. You get his battle pinwheel of doom. You get a sheet of instructions, and you get the cardboard backdrop that you can use for display purposes if you have the room for that. The instructions are well illustrated. If you're familiar with Wreck-Gar, then you kind of know what you're getting into already, but the instructions are there. They're well illustrated, and they are easy to follow along. Taking a look at the backdrop real quick. It's a backdrop of the planet of Junk, as depicted in the 86 movie, where they met Wreck-Gar and all the other Junkions. So there's that. And let's see. The motorcycle fits in there. You can't really angle it or anything like that. Oh, you can almost angle it just a little bit. There you go. It can be done, again, if you have the room for that kind of thing. The option is there if you want to use it. And you got the little pinwheel there, and then you've got the motorcycle itself. You can put his little battle axe thing. He's got a little peg on the back there, and there's a little port on the back of the vehicle, so you can peg that right there, and you can carry that along in vehicle mode. And here we have Junk Heap in his vehicle mode, his motorcycle mode. It's approximately 7 inches long from tip to tip, just the tip of the wheels, and he's approximately 4 inches tall, and he's really neat. He's really neat, and he's a lot more than I expected him to be. He is obviously a retool, a heavy retool of the Wreck-Gar figure that we got last year, but it's not just like a new head in a new paint job and that's it. They've actually done a couple of things here to make him or differentiate him from Wreck-Gar. So he's very distinct. Completely different, not completely different, but you know what I'm saying. You know, he's very distinctly a different character or a different figure from what Wreck-Gar is. So it's very cool having them both. So checking out the motorcycle mode, I really like this motorcycle mode. I kind of like this one better than Wreck-Gar's because it seems more realistic to me. This reminds me of those motorcycles that we would see in the 80s that police would use with the big tank here. I don't know, just, and you know, the boxes on the back, just something about this reminds me of those cruising motors. I don't know much about motorcycles, so I don't really know what the name of them would be, but just those big cruiser motorcycles that you would see in the 80s. This reminds me of that. Going all the way around, the motorcycle is done mostly in gray. We do have some brown tones, some oranges, and some very light greens here, kind of like that baby puke green there on the top, with some red details going along there. We got some panels here that have been added. These create an additional step to transformation from what we got with Wreck-Gar, and just kind of going all the way around. So you can see very, very nice. Again, I like this motorcycle mode a lot. You can look in there and you can see right in there, we got a couple of gauges right in there. The handlebars can move back and forth just a little bit for adjustment. And yeah, again, very neat. We got a couple of stands down here so we can kick these in. And the motorcycle rolls. Of course, it's not a very smooth roll because of all these spikes on the wheels, but it can roll and he doesn't fall over, so that will fall off. But yeah, it can be done, which is really, really neat. Let's bring in, just for comparison real quick, we'll bring in Redgar so you can see what the two of them look like together. And again, you can see very distinctly while they share most of the engineering, you can see that they are two very distinct motorcycles. It's not just the chest. Obviously the chest is different. We got the added panels here on the side. This front scoop right here is completely different. The one on JUNKHEAP is wider, and the gas tank is also wider. So you can see the differences there. And and of course, let's see. Yep, the gauges on the inside there, those are also different. Very minor differences, but they go a long way in making these look like two different vehicles. Let me put the stands back on again so that they're standing straight. So yeah, it does. Again, very minor differences, but they go a long way in making them look like two different vehicles, which I really dig that a lot. Another quick comparison with another studio series of a different type, with a live action studio series, but just because she is a current figure that's on shelves right now, also a motorcycle, and she happens to be on my desk. Here is JUNKHEAP with the studio series Bumblebee movie RC, just again because studio series, she's on my desk, and because they're both motorcycles, just so you can kind of see what the two of them look like together. Now, in case you're wondering, this has probably been covered by many people, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up, and that is that absolutely these guys can definitely ride each other. So there's a little tab right there on the seat, and there is a slot underneath and between the figures. Both of these are the same. They'll have a slot right there under the legs, so you can, in fact, it seems like they're a little big, but it can be done. They can mount each other, and they can ride. They can actually grab the handles. If I can, I promise you, I've done this before. It doesn't look like it, but every time we get on camera, the figures don't want to. They don't want to cooperate. But there you go. Yeah, you can absolutely do that, and they can absolutely ride each other, which is really, really neat. Again, he does look a little big. They do look a little big to ride each other, but it can be done. I actually had RC riding JUNKHEAP earlier in the week when I first got him, and that actually looked a little more proportionate. I sent a picture to somebody. I think maybe to Patriot Prime. I don't remember, but yeah, it can be done. And so now this has me kind of tempted, because when I got the what was back in the back when we were doing Generations, when we got Redgar and JUNKHEAP, I got two of each. So I had a Redgar riding a JUNKHEAP, and I had a JUNKHEAP riding a Redgar, and I am almost tempted to do it again and get two more of these figures so that I can have this, and then I can have a JUNKHEAP riding a Redgar. I'm almost tempted. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger, but I'm super, super tempted. So there you go. It can be done, and it looks neat. Again, it looks like almost kind of makes him look a little oversized to be riding the bike, which says a lot for the size of these figures. They're good sized figures. But now getting into transformation, if you're familiar with Redgar, this is not going to be anything new for you, really. There's really only one more step. So we'll just take his little pinwheel of doom and destruction and set that off to the side. Start with the vehicle here. Start at the bottom. We're going to take our little kickstands and just kind of put them away, and take the back of the motorcycle here and just kind of pull it apart so that we can pull the legs out, pull the legs apart, pull the wheel out. And we'll see if this holds. You can go ahead and just pop this on the side of the leg. You can do it now. It may or may not hold. I don't know. I don't think I've tried that. Let's try that and see what happens. Do the same in the front. Let's pull this apart. I'm kind of going out of sequence here. Let's pull the wheel out and just kind of plug it in there. And let's see if, hey, that's kind of neat. Yeah, hey, you know what? Let me try something. This is cool. Totally did not mean to do this, but this just occurred to me. Now we got a tricycle. I like that a lot. Check that out. That's so cool. Yeah, completely just made that up right now on the spot. That's neat. So let's give that back to Retgar over here. And we'll get back to transforming this guy. That was neat. That's a cool little alt mode there that I just kind of came up with. That's really neat. All right. Let's start back here. The feet are pegged in, so just go ahead and pull these down and out. So there's a tab. There's a tab here that the front of the foot is tabbed into. And then there's a little tab on the side there that's tabbed into this little slot right here on this panel. So go ahead and pull that on both of these and just kind of pull the legs out and straighten out the feet. And that's pretty much the bottom half of the robot all done. These panels here, this is the new step that's kind of been added here. So these panels are going to rotate to the front of the arm, and you'll notice that little hook piece right there is going to hook over that spike right there. So that's going to go there, and then we're going to rotate this one around, and we're going to hook that one there. And then we're going to bring the arms down. Let me bring this down a little. So on this chest piece right here, you see this tab here and here are tabbed into these slots on the forearms there and there. So we just bring those out. Just kind of extend all of this. Let's see, what do we want to do next? So go ahead and take the arms and just kind of bring them out as far as they'll go. Do I need to adjust the camera? Maybe a little bit. All right, so we're going to take this front piece of the motorcycle right here. We're going to pull this down. This is going to reveal the head of the robot, and just kind of pull this whole armature down like that. You see all of this? Okay. While we have all of this extended, go ahead and collapse this red piece. You see there's a hinge here and a hinge there. So go ahead and bring this all the way up, and then we're going to collapse this hinge here, and that tab is going to go into that slot right there. We need to do that now before we collapse this whole upper piece here. On the scoop of the motorcycle, push the windshield down. Check this out. Look at what the light, this headlight does. Let me kind of focus that up a little bit there. Watch the headlight right here. When you push down on the windshield, it pushes it out. I found that neat. It doesn't really serve any practical purpose. I just thought that was neat that it did that. So anyway, push the windshield all the way down, and then bring this all the way down like this. Take the handles and rotate them around the back right there. Bring the arms forward so that these two tabs are facing front. And then we're going to take these pieces here on these hinges, and we're going to collapse that in and straighten out the chest and the head. And then we're going to close this up, and the two tabs that I was mentioning on the shoulders are going to go into the slots on the chest piece right there. And that should all lock into place just like that. These horns were back in vehicle mode. Let me make sure that I'm focused here properly. So those horns were back in vehicle mode to accommodate for them going into the scoop. So now we're just going to make sure that those are out. They just you saw they kind of naturally just came out, but it needs to be pointed out. Bring the arms down, straighten them out, and then reach in here to get the fists out. Straighten out the arm. Get the fist out, get them all nice and straightened out. And there is JUNKHEAP in his robot mode, standing at approximately 7 inches tall. And again, heavy retool of Retgar. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying Retgar, but heavy retool of him. A lot of shared parts, a lot of shared engineering, but also a lot of new parts that make him very distinct and new and different character for this mold, which is really, really neat. He's done mostly in, again, those same colors carry over. So we've got a lot of grays, browns, and oranges with some hints of reds and some greens here and there. Really like that head sculpt. Let me see if I can bring that in and focus in for you. Focus on that head and lighten that up some. Love that head sculpt. It's just such a cartoon 80s cop face. I don't know. It's kind of got those goggles and that stern look. It just kind of looks like a cartoon cop from an 80s cartoon. I don't know. So I like it a lot. I dig it. Going all the way around. Very solid figure. No hollow spot. Well, other than the forearms there where the fists were in. Other than that, not a whole lot of hollow spots. It really does look like Hasbro's taken to heart all of those complaints that people have been talking about lately with all the hollow spots and all the waffling, you'll notice that lately those seem to be disappearing, and I really like that. It seems like Hasbro's listening, and they're changing things around based on customer feedback, which is really neat. Articulation wise, the head is on a Voyager. You got forward and backwards, you got side to side, you got a little bit of tilt, not a whole lot. Shoulders can go forward and backwards all the way around. They can go in and out on this pin up here. Rotation at the bicep, bend at the elbow, and rotation at the wrist. You got rotation at the waist. Legs can go forward, backwards. They can go in and out. Rotation at the thigh, bend at the knee. And we have ankle tilt. Well, it's really more like a middle foot tilt rather than an ankle tilt, but it can be done. So there you go. And then weapons-wise, we have our little pinwheel spinning around. Look at my pinwheel and see what I found. It's a callback to Kato's review. There you go. We can give him that. And there we go. We are all armed up and ready for battle. Looking really neat. I like him. I like him a lot. I dig him. I'm glad I found him. And he is definitely a very welcome addition here to the collection. And again, I'm kind of tempted to get one of each of these two guys again, just so that I can have one of each writing the other one of each. I don't know. Really tempted to do it. It wasn't so difficult to do when they were deluxe class figures at $10 each. But at Voyager class figures at $30 each, it's a little harder to do. So I'm still thinking about it. But there you go. That's what the two of them look like together. One more time for comparison. And just because we showed her off earlier, he is again with RC. So you can see the two of them, what they look like together. And just because I always have one of these, here's G1 Optimus Prime. I always have a G1 Optimus Prime on hand, ready to go in case a president calls with an emergency. So there he is with Optimus Prime. So you can see what the two of them look like together. Very, very neat if you're into G1, if you're into the 86 movie, if you're into motorcycle Transformers, if you like Wreck-Gar. Those are all good reasons to absolutely get this guy, and it's so much fun just to get them riding each other. Have one in motorcycle, one in robot mode, and have them riding each other. Just it's an absolute must get. Very, very fun figure, and excellent addition to any collection. And I think that about does it for my review of the Transformers Studio Series 86 Junk Heap. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.